The water was black, the sky was black, and I could not see the other side of the boat. That was the moment I knew the storm was serious. I have worked on cargo boats for 11 years. I have seen big waves before. I have seen rain that felt like stones falling from the sky. But that night was different. That night, something felt wrong in my body, in my chest, deep inside, before I even understood why. I was holding a rope near the back of the boat. The deck was wet and my boots were slipping. The wind was so loud I could not hear my own voice when I shouted. The lights on the boat were shaking. Everything was shaking. And then I heard something that was not the storm. Something small. Something close. I looked down at the big metal box near the wall. It was a storage box. We used it to keep ropes and tools. The lock was broken. The door was moving a little in the wind. I walked closer. I pulled the door open. Inside, there was a boy. He was maybe 9 or 10 years old. He was sitting with his knees against his chest. His eyes were very wide. He was shaking and he was looking at me like I was either his best hope or his biggest danger. My name is Marco. My mother is Filipino and my father is Italian. I grew up in the port city of Batangas in the Philippines. The sea was always close to me. When I was a boy, I used to watch the big ships and think, one day I will work on one of those. I was 23 when I got my first job on a cargo boat. It was not glamorous. It was hard work, lifting, cleaning, fixing, watching, long days, cold nights, bad food sometimes, but I loved it. I loved the open water. I loved the feeling of being far from land, far from problems, far from noise. I am not married. I have no children. My family is back in Batangas. My mother calls me every Sunday. I call my younger sister on her birthday. That is my life. It is simple. It is quiet. Some people think it is lonely. Maybe they are right. That night, our cargo boat was crossing from one island to another. It was a normal trip. We had done it many times. 8 crew members, 1 captain, and the load of dry goods in the main hold below. The storm came faster than the captain expected. The weather report in the morning had said some rain, some wind, nothing serious. But the sea does not always read the weather report. By 10 o'clock at night, we were in the middle of something strong and angry. I had finished my shift at 9. I should have been sleeping, but I could not sleep. I went outside to check the ropes. That was when I found the boy. The boy did not speak at first. He just looked at me. His clothes were wet even inside the box. The rain had come through the door. His hair was flat against his head. He had a small backpack on his back, holding it tightly like it was the most important thing in the world. I knelt down in front of him. I kept my voice low and calm, even though the wind was screaming around us. I told him my name. I told him he was safe. I told him I would not hurt him. He said one word. He said it very quietly. He said his name was Isko. I did not know what to do. My first thought was, I must tell the captain. A stowaway on the boat was a serious thing. The captain would have to report it. There could be trouble for the boy, maybe for the crew. My second thought was, if I bring this boy out into the open deck right now in this storm, it is dangerous. He's small, he's frightened. A big wave could knock him over the side. So I had to choose. I could go tell the captain right now and risk the boy getting hurt in the storm, Or I could keep him safe in this spot until the storm passed and tell the captain when it was calmer. It was not an easy choice, and I had maybe 30 seconds to make it. I decided to keep him safe first. I reached inside the storage box and I helped him move to the back corner where the rain could not reach. I took off my outer jacket. It was thick and a little dry on the inside, and I put it around his shoulders. He looked at me for a long moment. Then he pulled the jacket tighter. I found a piece of rope nearby and I tied the storage box door open just a little, enough for air, not enough for wind to tear it. I put a heavy toolbox in front of the door to stop it from moving too much. Then I sat down outside the box, with my back against the wall, watching both the boy and the deck around us. My hands were cold. My shirt was soaked. The boat was tilting left and right in a slow, heavy way that told me the waves were very big. I thought about what I knew about Isko. Almost nothing. I thought about why a boy that age would be hiding on a cargo boat alone at night. I did not know the answer, but I knew this. Whatever had brought him here, he was more scared than I had ever seen another person. I told him we were going to wait together. He nodded. For the next hour, the storm got worse before it got better. The boat moved in ways I was not used to. Even after 11 years, that night felt different. The waves hit the side with a deep sound, like someone banging on a big drum. Water came over the edge of the deck and ran across the floor in white sheets. The lights above us flickered twice and then stayed on, but weaker than before. I talked to Isko quietly. I asked him simple things. Where was he from? How old he was? If he was hungry? He told me he was 11, not 9 or 10. He was just small for his age. He was from a small town near the port. He had a grandmother there, but no parents. He said his grandmother was sick. He said he wanted to reach his uncle on the next island. He thought his uncle could help with money for the doctor. I listened to every word. I kept my face calm, but inside I felt something that I did not expect. I felt a kind of pain, the same kind you feel when you see something broken that should not be broken. He had done this alone. He had walked into the port, found an open door, hidden inside a box, and hoped for the best. He was 11 years old. He had a small backpack with probably nothing useful inside, and he had been brave in a way that I found very hard to understand, and also very hard to ignore. The wind outside was still loud, but between us, it was quiet. Then I heard footsteps on the deck. It was one of my crew members, a man named Danny. Danny was loud and friendly and not very careful with his words. He was walking along the side of the boat, checking the tie lines. His light moved across the deck in wide circles. My heart jumped. I looked at Isko. His eyes went wide again. I put one finger to my lips. He understood. Danny walked closer. The light swept over the storage box and then past it. He stopped just a few steps away. I could hear him breathing hard against the wind. He kicked a loose rope to the side. Then his light came back, slowly this time, and stopped on the storage box. I stood up. I moved quickly to where Danny could see me before he got any closer. I told him I was checking the ropes on this side. I told him everything looked fine. Danny laughed and said I was crazy for being outside in this weather. I laughed back. He told me to go inside and sleep. I told him I would in a few minutes. He looked at me for a second, then he nodded and kept walking. I waited until his footsteps were gone. Then I went back to the box. Isko was still in the corner, completely still, not moving at all. He had done exactly the right thing. I told him he had done well. He let out a very long, slow breath. It was the first time I saw his shoulders relax even a little. Around midnight, the storm began to slow down. The waves were still big, but the sky opened a little. I could see a few stars. The wind dropped from something angry to something tired. The boat steadied itself. The drumming sound from the waves went quieter. Isko had fallen asleep. I did not expect that. I looked at him. This small boy curled up in the corner of a metal box with my jacket around him, and I felt something I had not felt in a very long time. Something warm. Something that felt like being needed. I sat there and I thought about my own life. I thought about all the mornings I had woken up on this boat and felt nothing except routine. Wake up, work, eat, sleep, wake up again. I had told myself that this was enough. I had told myself that I did not need more than this. But sitting next to Isko in that dark, wet, cold corner of the boat, I thought, maybe I had been wrong. Maybe I had been hiding too. Not in a box, but inside my own quiet life, waiting for something without admitting I was waiting. The stars were still small above us, but they were there. When the storm passed fully, I woke Isko gently. He looked confused for a moment, the way people look when they wake up somewhere they do not recognize. Then he saw me and his face settled. He remembered where he was. I told him it was time. I told him I was going to take him to the captain. I told him it would be okay, but I needed to tell the truth. Hiding a child on the boat was not something I could keep doing, and Isko needed real help, not just my jacket and a dark corner. He got very still. He asked me if he would be sent back. I told him I did not know. I told him I was sorry I could not promise more than that. But I told him that doing the right thing, even when it was hard, was better than hiding and hoping. I told him the captain was a fair man. Isko was quiet for a long time. Then he picked up his small backpack. He stood up. He smoothed the front of his shirt with both hands, a small, serious gesture that looked very grown up for an 11-year-old. He looked at me and he nodded once. We walked together across the wet deck toward the captain's cabin. The sky above us was clearing. The sea was calmer now, almost still. The captain was awake. He looked at Isko and then at me for a long moment. I told him everything. The storm, the box, the decision I had made to keep the boy safe until the weather passed. The captain did not shout. He did not send Isko away. He asked the boy a few questions in a calm voice. He learned about the grandmother, the uncle, the long trip that Isko had planned alone. When Isko finished talking, the captain was quiet. Then he told one of the crew to bring Isko something warm to eat. When we arrived at the port 3 hours later, the captain called the port authority and explained the situation. They contacted the uncle. The uncle was there at the dock in less than an hour. He was a big man with a worried face. When he saw Isko, he walked very fast and held him for a long time without letting go. I watched from the side. My jacket was still around Isko's shoulders. He did not give it back, and I did not ask for it. As the uncle led Isko away, the boy turned around and looked at me one more time. He raised his hand. I raised mine back. That night, back in my small cabin, I did not feel lonely. I thought about my sister. I thought about my mother. I decided I would call them in the morning. Not on Sunday, not on a birthday, just because.
That was Marco's story. A storm, a small boy, and a choice made in the dark. Sometimes the most important moments in our lives are not the ones we plan. They arrive suddenly in a broken storage box in the middle of the night when the waves are high and the sky is black. And they change something small inside us, something we did not even know needed changing. Thank you for listening today on English Catalyst. If this story touched you, please give it a like. It truly helps this channel grow. And if you are not subscribed yet, please subscribe to English Catalyst so you never miss a new story. Remember, even small acts of kindness are brave.